Uh, hey everyone, and welcome back to Raising NA, the only podcast in the world. My name is Smax, and I'm joined by Cubby and Rafa, and we're here to talk about things that go on podcasts. And by that I mean North American League of Legends. And we're here to tell you about how good North American League of Legends is, especially. Um, and it's it's all right.
It's all right. What makes it just all right?
Well, you know what? It's it's a bunch of different adjectives all at once. Entertaining is one. Tumultuous is one. Um, Mark, do you have an adjective for rosters being fucked?
You know what?
Very specific.
I'm going to um rambunctious.
Ooh, ooh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Um, what do we call trying to be obsessed with staying in the 24-hour news cycle?
Social
Travis
climbing.
Gafford.
Mm.
Okay, that's whatever that was, Rafa. That's my adjective that I have to contribute to this conversation we're having about the LCS.
All right,
But
all right.
we should get started because there were
Yeah.
some pretty crazy games that we had take place in this week, and I think a lot of results that surprised people. So where do you guys want to start?
I have one thing that we need to get out of the way first, but
Okay.
then we can start wherever Mark picks. But the one thing that I do need to tell everyone is that the Mobalytics top prospects list has been delayed a little bit because there was 1 week off of amateur and semi-pro play. So we only got 2 games of every team, and that's not really enough to like make really big changes to the list. So we're going to delay it a little bit. We're not sure if it's going to be next week or the week after. It might be 2 weeks from now because then Risen will be over. So just be prepared for that. We're not going to have one this week. Sorry, guys.
All right.
Anyway,
Well, that I guess if all of our amateur listeners just left, thanks, Max. I appreciate that. Um,
Good
but
job.
yeah. So that said, we do have to dive into this week for the LCS. Do we want to start at the top of the table or the bottom of the table?
let's start at the top.
Okay,
We got
Hundred
a lot to say.
Thieves.
We got a lot to say. Funnily enough, not a lot to say about 100 Thieves.
Yeah, there
I
really
don't
isn't much to say
know.
about these guys.
Lee
They're
Sin
really good.
five-way flex option now?
Yeah,
Like hello? That
that
is
was
so
cool.
sick.
Enjoy it while it lasts on this patch, as I think next week they start playing on 11-13. That would be the 2 week rule. Speaking of the
Mm-hmm.
two-week rule, we did see a Mundo make an appearance today. Rather cool.
Yes. Uno was very cool. Hooney played it and won. So
All
gotta
right,
love that.
so let's just before we dive into this, I guess like from top to bottom, let's just speed run the roster moves that we had this week. So
All right.
here's what happened this week. One, Sven's
And
back for
and the week
C9.
before that.
And okay, and the week before that. But this is like pretty much just this week, right? Sven's back for C9. Jat's out. Armeo was in as Santorin's still dealing with migraines. We hope that Santorin gets better soon. That sucks. If anyone's ever had a migraine, um, yeah, that's just absolutely brutal. Contracts got to play a game for EG. Hot take. I think that's the cleanest game we've seen out of an NA team so far this year in the league. That was cool. Kumo, Tomo, and Diamond played one game for FlyQuest. And yeah, that's then. Let's see. Did we hit on the fact that Dardok's out and Acadian's now permanently in? And it seems like Yasui's in instead of Saligo. It's wild. It's hard to keep track of all the things that are going on in the LCS, as this split
Yeah.
has been nothing but entertaining so far in terms of roster moves. But I guess we have to talk about what we think of each teams with the rosters that they have. But one that has stayed consistent is 100 Thieves. And 100 Thieves, they're the best team in the league. They look really good. I think the team that tested them the most this week, surprisingly, was actually Dignitas.
I think so. Uh I that's pretty fair. Cloud9 has not been looking very good. Um I think I wanna say that it's something to do with their bot lane like being in like major turbulence, but I really don't think that that's it. I I don't know. I guess I'm sort of skipping over to Cloud9
Okay,
because that
so
game.
do we have anything to talk about for 100 Thieves besides the fact that like they have cemented themselves as the best team in the league, and we're just waiting to see who's going to challenge them? Like, is that
They're
just
tied with
it?
TSM.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that is the most straightforward team that we have to talk about. Actually, I really don't have much to say
Yeah.
about 100 Thieves. They're very good. FBI can play Lee Sin. That's awesome. And yeah, they're what is their win streak right now? 5 in a row.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
They're hot. And honestly, they haven't really even been challenged in those games. That's the scary part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing that I love the most about 100 Thieves right now is it's more than just individual play. They have the best macro out of any team right now. It is the audibles that they are pulling in these games, the way that they pulled Cloud9 back and forth on the map, forcing them to pick between objectives and saying, oh, well, you want to take this dragon? Well, we're going to base race and threaten your mid inhibitor turret. And because Cloud9 gets cold feet and doesn't do anything, then they get nothing in return. 100 Thieves gets a free inhibitor turret, and they prevent the dragon from being taken anyway. And then there is the moment where they sent FBI to solo dragon while contesting Cloud9 as a 4-man unit at Baron,
They ran
prevents
circles around
Cloud9
him.
from doing Baron,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like, and they got Soul, and they stopped them from doing Baron. Like these things that 100 Thieves are doing, no other team is doing it remotely close. Like TSM has strong individual performances and they have a strong early game off of the back of Spica, but a lot of their strength comes in late game play, and just the macro that 100 Thieves displays is just a whole other level right
Not
now.
only that, but when we talk about Academy, they still have the best Academy squad too. So
True.
for the Thieves, if you are a fan, if you of 100 Talk Pod and you like the Trust the Papa thing, seems to have worked out as this roster change has been the best that we've seen in the LCS. I think that no one is second guessing the decisions that 100 Thieves made in this offseason, and it is all sunshines and roses for them on their side of the fence.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
Abidage is feeling like we
He's the
we
best man in
mentioned
the
this in
league
the
at the
first
moment.
episode of Raising an A. Abidage is feeling like he is on the Bjergsen Jensen PoE side of EU import mids, which is very high praise, and he is looking amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is going to probably be our star team at Worlds, I'd say at this rate.
Already? You don't
I feel
think
like
that
it, yeah.
TL C9 can turn things around?
I mean, I'm just really confident in 100 Thieves at this point. I I think that they are very well suited. I think the longevity as well is really big. Like the champion pool is the thing that gets me most excited about Abedage right now. It's because he's playing so many different styles, and I think that bodes very well for the future. Like if you think about when Worlds is, it's like 6 patches from now. 11/19 is when we expect it to
Yeah,
be,
usually
right?
18, 19, yeah.
So like I can't see like things being crazy enough to where that champion pool just doesn't work anymore and he's just useless. So yeah, I think this is going to be our hope for Worlds. Maybe that changes. I don't know. But that's where my head's at right now. I wanna get attached. I wanna get hyped for Worlds already. Because you know what? It's not going to go very well either way. So we might as well might as well jump in immediately.
Wow, okay. We're really
Man,
praising NA on a week and a weekend where we saw a lot of NA's finest look very good.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Smacks is still
another
down bad.
thing. One other thing about 100 Thieves. If they were not the test subject for Counter Logic Gaming's as Kobe coined it, the bongo style, their win
Bongo
streak
Pop.
right now would be 10. So
Yeah,
just throwing that out there.
but they were.
That's insane.
And they didn't
They were the
respect it
test
at
subject.
all. They
No,
did not respect that shit at all.
I don't either. Um, So, you know, we'll see where kind of Logic Gaming ends up now that that's happened. But anyway, 100 looks good. What's our next team, Cubby?
Okay. Next team would be TSM since they're higher in the summer standings. So let's talk about TSM. Let's start with Raafaa. What are your impressions about everyone's favorite North American team?
Everyone's favorite. Who's everyone?
I'm saying that somewhat sarcastically. I hope you picked up the tone, but
I see. I
yeah.
see. I see.
Okay. TSM.
Uh,
TSM this week dropped to EG and contracts. Besides that, went 2-1 with wins over FlyQuest and Team Liquid today.
mm-hmm. No, TSM are still by far a top 3 team. At this point, I would call
I
them
guess
the
two.
second strongest team in the league.
Yeah.
That being said, the Evil Geniuses win with contracts against TSM was damn convincing, and I hope that Evil Geniuses can continue this surge. I know that they gave contracts initially to just start for Saturday, and they had Sven Skaren play today. But I'm gonna be honest, I did not get a chance to see all the LCS games today as I was out, so I do not know what exactly were the details. I know the results, and I heard about FBI playing Lee Sin.
It's pretty
The
hard
only game
not
I
to hear
saw,
about that.
I mean, when you hear that, when I see on Twitter that Lee Sin is in bot lane, at first I thought that who he was playing Lee Sin. I was like, oh man, this dude is like pulling a Mata, pulling out Lee Sin in support. But no, he was playing Senna, and FBI was playing Lee Sin instead, which still super fun. Anyway, point being that TSM still second best team. I think that Spica is still the best jungler in LCS. I think he does things
Ooh.
that
Okay.
I I
You're,
still think that Spica does a lot of things that is better than what Closer does, because I think there are times where Spica has to bridge TSM's early game into mid and late game where TSM are their strongest point. 100 Thieves by far has the best early game because a lot of their lanes are just really powerful. And I think Spica is such a huge catalyst for being able to swing and just reads the map correctly on how to where he needs to be and how to influence it. That being said, Contracts had a big game on EG, and a lot of the things that TSM normally does, Contracts did to TSM. He read correctly that bot lane was getting heavily put far behind. Bot lane was down about 40 CS against the Ezreal Karma lane from Lost and Sword Art. They prepped a dive against Huni in the top side of the map, which using that 3-man core of Viego, Diana, and who was Yuzuke playing? He was playing Lucian,
Lucian.
right? Yeah. And so that 3-man core has the priority to be able to push in, take Rift Herald on spawn, and then Contracts rotates that pressure, immediately ganks towards the bottom side of the map. They catch out Sword Art after clearing a Tribush ward. Lost can't defend the turret. And after Danny was down 40 CS for the majority of the first 10 minutes of the game,
Mm-hmm.
they take down that turret, they unlock Danny from that lane, and from there, all the advantages that TSM had built up, mainly through the bottom side of the map, was not completely nullified, because Lost still maintained a huge CS lead on Danny, but then Contracts and crew found so many good picks and started fights on their terms that
Mm-hmm.
Danny was able to still be a contributing source of reliable damage, because there's powerful bursts coming in from Contracts, and then you get to reset, and then you get to pick up a lot of gold from kills and assists in team fights. So, I I don't know if Evil Geniuses played the same way with Sven Skaren on the roster today in their win against Dignitas, but uh, contracts in that lineup with Evil Geniuses made that team look really damn clean, and it's against the second best team in the LCS too. So that's nothing to like write off as.
Okay.
I'm a lot more convinced with TSM's wins when they do it through topside rather than bot.
I would agree with that. I
I
think
actually think
Cooney's been
Cooney
playing
looks
well.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that Lost and Sword Art are still something to, that we're waiting for. Um,
Right.
I have a much. I still don't have faith in TSM at the moment. I think that their early game right now, if you look at the league, I got to reference the stat as I had it yesterday when I was on the broadcast, but their early
Stat
game,
boy Cubby. He's
it was
pulling up the stat.
it was the weakest part of their like gameplay in the spring. It was what prevented them from being able to compete against the top of the table when it comes to the LCS. And guess what? They still have the worst early game rating in the LCS according to Oracle's Elixir. Now, a part of this is because Power of Evil's champion pool has still been primarily on mages. And that I fully understand that, right? And that's something that's totally okay. They're averaging being down 520 gold at the 15-minute mark. I get that. The difficulty that I have is how do you beat a team like 100 Thieves if you are TSM? Like it's not going to happen if you cannot play early. Like I don't have faith that they can win 5 games, like 3 out of 5 games against 100 Thieves, right? And that's something that I think TSM, if the meta stays the way it is, Power of Evil is going to have to pick up a couple of those AD champions because right now TSM, most of their losses, it's when Power of Evil, 2 of the losses are on Lucian and then the 1 loss against DG. So I think that they have to round out some champion pool issues if they want to compete with the top of the table. And I'm very surprised you think that Spica is the best jungler in the league because I feel like he's been limited by Power of Evil because of that. He's been having to play a lot of the Volibears, which I think is a champion that's still really overrated and shouldn't be played at the moment.
Sure.
Doesn't really bring much to the table. And
Xin Zhao's good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Zin's very good, right? But there are still some like pretty systemic issues with TSM like as a whole. And I'm surprised that you're like really high on them at the moment.
Mundo.
I mean, the reason you're stating that he is stunted at the moment and he's still looking this good is why I push that argument even further.
Okay. I think that Closer has been unreal so far this split. And also Xerxes, I think, has had an amazing split. I think Speak is a great jungler, but I think that Xerxes and Closer have been the best performers so far.
I think that
I'm
Blabber's the best jungler.
Just as food for thought, I think it's a lot easier to look better as a jungler when all of your lanes are doing well without your influence or your help. So
that's yeah.
So I would give a lot more credit to Xerxes because he has to work with a roster that is not as successful. Obviously they are starting to pick up wins here and there. They're still a middle of the pack team. Summer record is at the top half of the table though, versus
7-5, tied for third in the summer.
Tied for third. So, so I would give more credit to like Xerxes as like a jungler that is making a name for being a top than Closer. I'm not taking anything away from Closer. I think Closer's great and Closer does well. I'm just saying it's a lot easier to look good as a jungler when all of your lanes are winning. And
yep.
So it's like the Cloud9 factor back in season 3 when all Cloud9's lanes were winning and Meteos got the Superstar KDA because he just got the farm and he had free jungle games.
Fun times.
Okay. Fair enough. Anything else on TSM?
Mundo.
Yeah. Huni debuting another pick. Not surprised with the champion pool. Up next, we'll go with Team Liquid, since we were just talking about TSM. Yeah. And, of course, that was probably the most exciting match of the day today. So, TL, Armeo, I want to give him a huge shout-out. I think going 2-1 this week, if there was a 6-Man of the Year award, Armeo would get it, as Armeo has been so good whenever he has to step up for TL.
He's really good.
Yeah, and huge props to him. It's been that's very difficult to do in League, and he's done it very well. So yeah, that's very impressive.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think Armeo is very good. I think he's good enough to be on an LCS team. it's just a really unfortunate situation for Team Liquid as a whole, though. With like the coach turmoil, the forced sub out for Santorin because of health issues. It's never something that you want to have be a hurdle for you, especially in a Worlds run, because this team is still contending to get that spot. And just like I predicted that it would be at the start of the split, this split's looking pretty top heavy for LCS. So I think the spots are all up for grabs.
The bottom three
Within
teams are pretty bad,
yes,
and bottom four
but that
now with Dig having issues.
we'll get there, Kobe.
Yeah,
But I do think that the top five, maybe top six, if Immortals keeps it up, I think are pretty big contenders.
okay.
And I think that it's a really tough situation for Team Liquid to be in. I really hope that Santorin gets better and gets the help that he needs to feel okay.
Yep.
Migraines are really bad in my family too,
Yeah.
so I know how bad that is. It's really debilitating. So
Raafaa, any thoughts?
On Team Liquid?
Yeah.
I mean, I was super impressed with Armeo pulling double duty this week, playing both Academy and LCS. That's not easy.
yeah,
You have to scrim with two different rosters, and
that's a good point.
I mean, it's similar to in when we talked with contracts on League Day during Saturday. That you have to put in extra time to scrim with split scrims both with the LCS roster and the Academy roster. But Armeo had to play
Seven
seven
games this week.
games, seven
Yep.
games this week on stage, that's a lot. And
It's just as many as CLG lost this week.
holy shit,
You want to go there first already?
Just a taste of what's to come.
oh my god, leave them alone. They're all come on, man. Listen, before we get into CLG, to wrap up, Team Liquid
I mean, we're going
had
straight to the bottom. We're going to CLG.
yeah. Team Liquid, they're figuring things out right now, and they're just trying to bounce back with a response ASAP. I think it's good to pick up wins against EG and CLG.
I think 2-1's the most you could hope for if you're a TL fan.
Yeah.
What more could you
For
ask
sure.
this week? I mean, yeah.
I still have a lot of faith in Team Liquid. I think that they will still be a contender by the end, even though they're going through all this mess. I have a lot of faith in the players on that team, and I think especially when Alfari comes back in next week, we might get to see some really big things from this team, depending on how that goes. Also, and that's worth mentioning, Jenkins is remaining on the roster as a sixth man for the entire year, no matter what happens.
Yes.
They said that in their press conference. So he is not returning to Academy. Dokla is going to have that spot for the entirety of the year. And if they do go to Worlds, Jenkins is going with them. So I think that's really cool. I think Jenkins is really good, and his champion pool does feel like it has some quirks to it. That Alfari might not want to practice as heavily. So I think that's one of the main qualities that you look for when looking for a sixth man and having it be effective. So I think that's a really big deal. And Jenkins has looked pretty good. So I really like that aspect of Team Liquid's game. If Alfari does come back in next week, like according to schedule, and he is still smurfing it like we expect, then this is definitely a team to watch out for. I'm really excited for Team Liquid.
I don't have much on TL. I think that I just want to see them at full strength before I start to like really. I can't really like go hard on them. The fact that Jenkins and Armeo got them a 2-1 week again, like, what else can you ask for? I know that like the wins are over EG and CLG, but I mean I think they're playing well. And I just want to see them at full strength. As I still think at full strength, I still think they're probably the strongest team that we have in NA, considering that we got Core JJ and Jensen.
Yeah.
Okay, now the other strongest team in NA, the one that represented us at MSI, C9. We teased that they might be having some struggles, some issues. Smacks, why do you think C9's having issues? What do you see that's going wrong?
It's really hard to say. I think that the from the outside looking in, it feels like the meta shifts have really not suited what they want to do all that well. Which is weird because this, when I think of like what teams really like to skirmish with mid jungle, the first team that comes to mind is Cloud9. But it definitely does not feel like they've adjusted to it as well as I would hope. Um, and I still, like I said, I still do think that Blabber is the best jungler in the league. So we're all split on that. But yeah, I don't know. I think that
Yeah.
the biggest thing to me was actually today when I saw them play against CLG, which they did win, but I don't know. It felt like it took forever for them to actually close out that game, even though everybody knew that it was going to happen just based on the draft alone. So I don't really know. I
I
I'm
I I mean
I'm
they
not
like
used to this slower paced Cloud9,
they
and
had a
I,
winning
I'm
draft. I'm okay with them playing
yeah,
slow. The thing that makes me worried is the fact
right,
that
yeah,
the early game magic's gone, and that was
yeah,
what
exactly.
C9 was known for. And I'm really wondering like what happened there because this is a meta where diving solo lanes and playing through mid and playing through jungle is good, and taking these brawlers and doing fast quick plays is good. And you'd think like, wow, this should fit C9 so well, but they don't have
Mhm.
it, and I'm kind of curious. Like, I can't like really put my finger on it. I don't know if like they're just not showing up on stage. If they Blabber doesn't know how to jungle without 3 winning lanes. Like, I honestly like don't know what it is.
I have a theory, and that theory is that all 10 LCS teams are trying that same strategy right now, and because of that, all the teams know exactly like how that style works and how to play around it and how it's strong and how it's weak now. And I feel like since Cloud9 has sort of always been good at that this year, especially, that they've kind of just been matched in that way. Um, because everybody is playing like the Xin Zhao now, and like that's the only thing you can do with that champion is
Well,
just
like
go and kill people early
there were
game.
teams that were playing well early though in the last season. Like 100 Thieves did have good early game in the last split,
Right,
right?
yeah. I think it
But
was different though.
C9 were still top dogs, and C9 so far this split, I mean, their early game is third or fourth right now. They're averaging being up or down 45 gold at 15. That's fourth in the league, behind TL, EG, and 100 Thieves. That's kind of weird to me.
Pretty underwhelming. Yeah.
Yes.
Man. Yeah,
And that's
I
like not from draft, right? It's not like they're drafting Victor for
right.
perks.
Yeah. And Perks is playing the melees and everything. So
Man.
I don't know. I it's weird. It's strange that all this is happening while they're subbing in and out their bot lane too, which I mentioned before, I don't think is that big of an issue. Like I don't think King was like super terrible or anything. In the same way, I don't
He,
think
he was he
Sven
was
is
not as good
like
as Sven, but he wasn't bad,
right.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And we all knew
he
that
was
was going
fun.
to happen.
Yeah,
Like
he was fun.
exactly that. So I'm not sure. But what I do know is that it's also happening in their academy team. Their academy team went 0-4 this week. And uh we can get to that later, but it's it's not just the LCS team. Something is going awry in on Cloud9 over there. And we're gonna get to the bottom of it.
Detective Smacks on duty.
I need a spine
I was about to
noise.
say, someone cue the Scooby Doo theme
Yeah,
music.
maybe I don't know. Maybe like we'll take a deep dive on C9 for our episode in like 2 weeks. Um, because I've haven't like gone back and watched their games again like super in depth to see like where things are going wrong early. Because I'd be really curious to see what's up because it feels like Perks is just like 1v9ing, and if Perks doesn't 1v9, then they
Right.
lose. Like,
Yep. It's not very reliable. I
yeah,
mean, Perks is, but
Perks has been
it's not a
unreal this split.
reliable
Yeah,
plan of attack.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, that we'll we'll have to talk more about Cloud9 when we get to the academy team
Okay.
because that's where like shit is really hitting the fan. But
They had a tough
anyway,
week. Moving
right.
on, fifth in the standings would be EG, who EG had a 2-1 week featuring a loss to TL, a win over TSM, and a win over Dig. That win over TSM, of course, featured Contracts, who subbed in.
El Contracto!
All right, so do we start the Contracts Svenskeren discussion now or wait? I feel like this has to happen now.
Let's do it now.
Okay.
Contracts is good. And this is actually another instance that I akin to the Jenkins Alfari situation, where it feels like Contracts and Svenskeren are playing two very different styles. Contracts of what is it? Of the 2021, if you count Dardoch, NA junglers, he's the only one playing Nidalee. And he's the only one that I want to play Nidalee. Because he's so good at it. And it seems like both of these teams are very well equipped to work around that. And that's awesome. He is like very clearly leading the draft and the gameplay and the early game and everything. That is such a huge quality to like have in a player and in your jungler as well. And I don't know, man. Get this guy on an LCS team permanently because he is really something else. Like all year too. They were good reminder.
He was the
They were
best player
top
in Proving
four.
Grounds. Like,
Yeah, they were top four
arguably.
in proving grounds.
In Academy, is the best. Like, he's just the best player.
Yeah.
Like, the talk was like King, Isles, Ayla for a bit,
Viper.
Contracts. Like, who is the best player? And I think Contracts is like, that's the call. So, the thing that I know from talking with EG's staff is that Contracts is good at game planning, is what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
And when
You can
I
see it.
watched that game, EG had a plan and they ran with it. And for me, that's the big difference for this team because I think, I mean, Svenskeren has obviously proved himself as a jungler. He's been an MVP of the league as well. I mean, this guy is very good, but what are EG's issues? Like, they play too fast. They sometimes don't respect their opponent enough. Or sometimes they just, if one thing goes bad, they just look lost early. And what fixes that is game planning. And I think that Contracts and EG had a great game plan going into TSM. Obviously, the fact that Peter Dunn subbed them in specifically for TSM to throw them off guard, they had a plan going into that match. It worked out really well. I don't know how they're going to use Contracts throughout, but if there's any role that you can swap out and is good to swap out in best of series, it's jungle. So that's what I'm most interested in, actually, because I think that they can use Contracts and Svenskeren each when it comes to the best of series.
The biggest thing that that spoke to me was when Contracts was on the analyst desk post game, and they asked him, "What do you bring into this LCS roster? That kind of changed up, or why? What made it so that a big contributing factor into your win today?" And he said that I feel like Evil Geniuses makes a lot of mistakes because, like Cubby said, they do play too fast. They play really aggressive, and there's no restraint. There's not a voice that tells them, no, wait, right? Be patient, wait for the right opportunity to go in. And I somewhat find that interesting because I'm not calling Contracts a liar, and I very much believe it. I just think that it's interesting that Svenskeren is not able to do that for Evil Geniuses, but maybe Contracts just has a more firm voice when he comes in to the roster, and he is more demanding, or his voice is quote unquote louder. And not necessarily just like he's screaming in comms, right? But there's a way that you carry yourself when you're playing on a team and you are directing comms, also in the tone of your voice. So that is what Contracts is doing.
I can't speak too much on actual comms or that thing. I just know from the staff is that he's good at game planning, and I think that game EG showed a great game plan and more restraint and more direct plan. I think is really good because they have a talented roster.
Yeah. I
Big
mean,
contracts fan.
yeah. I mean, like we touched earlier on how contracts saved Danny from being down 40 CS and almost being, always behind on curve and on power spikes compared to losses Ezreal. The other thing too is that because contracts is telling them to be restrained with certain picks and engages, every pick that I saw from them was never a botched pick. It was never a botched engage. It
I
didn't
thought
always mean that.
it was a clean game. I think that's the cleanest game I've seen in the LCS so far this split. I'm dead serious when I say that from EG. Like, and
Oh, okay.
a
From
part of the
EG. I
reason
thought you were
why
talking about all LCS teams. I was like, I think 100 Thieves have had slightly cleaner games
I
against
know there
other.
was like a perfect game from C9, but that also like
Yeah.
there was some egregious ints on the other side. TSM didn't play terrible in that game. They took scaling. They were trying to play it out to scale. It's their
Yeah.
specialty. It's their comfort zone. They didn't shit the bed. EG just beat the crap out of them and played really good League. And that was a good game, one that I think if you didn't watch it, that's the one game I'd tell everyone to watch from this week. And I think that EG was, if they can demonstrate that more with contracts, then I think that's the move for them. Because when I see like the mechanical ability or leadership, I don't know like what that team needs like behind closed doors, but I hear that he's good at game planning. They had an amazing game plan in that game, and look what happened. I mean, so I don't know. I think it's an interesting discussion. I don't think that's the last time we'll see contracts in the LCS stage this season. I think that he's earned his play in Academy to get some LCS time. Svenskeren is rooting for him too. That's awesome. He shared with Raafaa that he gets one scrim day a week with the LCS squad. That's great. I think it's good experience for both of them, and it
Yeah.
obviously makes EG better. So I want to see more of
Mhm.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. Contracts has been scrimming with the LCS team since the off season going into summer. So
Mhm.
it has not been something that was like a spur of the moment. They have been planning to get contracts to split time with Svenskeren on the main squad, which I think if Evil Geniuses makes a push to Worlds and is able to successfully go to Worlds as one of the 3 seeds, I imagine that since you're only able to bring 6 instead of 7 players, that you're going to bring contracts and Svenskeren.
Yeah.
Good.
Everything else but EG, whatever ints Jizuka had earlier in the season seemed to be out of his system, and he's playing good.
Yep.
He played very well this week.
EG. I mean, they're much the same outside of jungle. So I think this is another team to get excited for. Danny is popping off, and I love that.
I wouldn't say popping off. He's still doing
I
fine.
would.
He's still doing
I'm
fine.
proud of him. I'm proud of my boy.
He's a middle of the pack AD. He's doing his okay. He's doing okay.
I'm proud of my boy, Cubby.
Okay, I am too. I mean he's proved that he should play at that level, right? But let's not get too let's restrain some of our excitement.
Okay.
Say where Danny is. He's
all right.
We
he's
can't
mid-tier AD.
we have to learn from our colleague Kangas that you can't get too excited about your favorite team or player.
Okay. Well, Cubby, you mentioned that for contracts, this is not the last time that we're going to be seeing him in LCS this year. We have to talk about a jungler who we will not be seeing in the rest of LCS this year now, and that is Dardoch. Dardoch's gone.
Team. Yeah.
Probably not at this point.
We'll see.
He did tweet that he's a free agent. And I know a few Proving Grounds teams that could use a good
semi-pro.
So just throwing that out there.
If Dardoch was a semi-pro, Jesus Christ.
He almost was.
He would
Dignitas Academy.
Everyone. Oh my God.
He would instantly
it'd be so fun.
become the best jungler in Proving Grounds, and he would shit on everyone. It would not even
awesome.
be.
He's kind of dumping on everyone in the LCS stage for a little bit.
He actually was.
Let's start on the bright notes for Dignitas. Dig went 1-2 this week. Their only win was over FlyQuest. Their losses
oh man, that's
were
a bright
to
note. Holy.
Let's see. EG, who had a good week, and 100 Thieves, who are the best team in the league. So, and in their win, Acadian looked very good against the weakest team in the league. Now, I can't really speak on the dumpster fire that's going on over there or whatever happened with Dardoch. I think I responded to like LS wanting him to say that, they should like at least say like what Dardoch said or, like why is he leaving the team? Like, they just aren't saying anything. I was like, well, obviously, if a player doesn't sit in a circle afterwards and sing Kumbaya with all of his teammates, even after losses, they're off the team. So, obviously, that's what happened over in the Dignitas camp. As Kumbaya just wasn't sung by Dardoch, and he was gone. I don't know if we'll ever find out why he was booted like that, because that's like really weird. Like, seeing a player go from starting on a Friday to benched for the weekend, then out of the org in the span of like 7 days is pretty wild. And we didn't get any info on it. And then the Dignitas presser that they released was like,
the video was terrible.
The back half, I made the joke, like
so
even
awful.
like Acadian and JJ were like kind of joking with like what I wrote, right? I was like, they should like throw this on Acadian's dating profile. Like, he's a great teammate. Like, they were like hyping up Acadian like he was just sent from fucking Jesus. Like, he is the third coming of Christ or something. Like, on the team.
Wild.
Which,
and then they're like,
I mean, good for
Matt,
like,
we hired the best esports psychologist in the business.
And they don't say who he is.
Why not just say who it is? It's Weldon, right?
I don't know.
No. That was a meme. Because
it's a meme?
That's a funny meme.
Okay, the meme.
Viara like made that. And
there's a meme because nobody fucking knows. Just say his name if he's the best.
I would give Dignitas like a 3 out of 10 in terms of PR ability there.
I'd bump it down to 2 because they didn't bring Saligo back.
Yeah. And that's still something that we're questioning. I still think Saligo's the stronger mid laner, and that's why Dignitas is winning an academy. But
yes.
If you are a Dig fan, Acadian looked good. I still think Fake God's a beast.
Yeah.
What's the play?
The real play is actually to win Academy Worlds or Proving Grounds for Dignitas.
I don't think they're doing that.
Yeah. Fuck LCS. We're not going to go to Worlds at this rate.
We're going to help develop our 16-year-old
We're going to win
jungler.
Proving Grounds instead. Yeah. We're going to hype up our boy Will!
Yeah.
Will!
Technically, their win rate in Academy Summer is better than their win rate in LCS Summer, which is shocking.
We're already like 45 minutes in, which means that we're going to be here for a while, Jen. So,
we missed a week, so
that's true.
I don't have too much else to say about Dig. I just want Saligo back.
3 out of 10 in the PR department. Moving on in the standings. Up next, we have Immortals. Immortals are tied for 3rd with a 7-5 summer record, and they beat CLG this week, Golden Guardians this week, and then lost to 100 Thieves and FBI's Lee Sin.
Hey, man.
I think Immortals, in their win over Golden Guardians, they styled. Like, they actually just styled in that game. They had 29 kills in 25.5 minutes.
It was so filthy.
Not close.
When you casually burn Paranoia, and then after your main engage tool is down, and then Xerxes on Xin Zhao is just like, all right, I'm just going to dash into 5 people, see what happens, just for fun. And then they can't kill him, and he buys like at least 5 seconds of time before the rest of Immortals follows up, and they rat off the rest of the members of Golden Guardians. That's game right there. And that was like 14 minutes in. So like,
Also against CLG, that was it's not going to look as dominant as the 29 kill win does, but the fact that like they survived the Bongo comp and shut it down in the manner they did, that game wasn't close either. Like, once they won the first 2 fights, it was over, and they took their time and did their job. They played out that game really clean. But I think Immortals, hot take, I think Immortals look like the 3rd best team in the league right now, behind TSM and 100 Thieves. I really do, and that's going to be a hot take, and one that like a lot of players aren't gonna expect, or I think people, but I think Xerxes is playing really good League. I think that their bot lane, Destiny, is having a nice split so far. Insanity and Revenge. Revenge is doing more than hold his own. He still has a couple of games where I want consistency out of him, but his highs are very high, which is what we expect, what everyone expected out of Revenge when he first got picked up. And Xerxes is playing out of his mind with his champion pool. Like, he is playing so good in the jungle. He really is having a fantastic split. This meta is in his wheelhouse, and I think that Immortals can run with this and like maybe be a fun dark horse in the playoffs, because their spring record, they're probably not going to get more than like a 5 seed just given their spring record. So that's a team I would not want to face in the first round of the playoffs. I think that's a fun team to have in the league. Immortals look like they're going to fit that role really well.
Oh, I don't know much about
Kobe,
Immortals,
all
personally.
this praise about Xerxes means that Smax's dream of Anda playing in LCS diminishes ever so
It's
slowly.
delayed until next year. Yeah. Yeah. I you know what I'll say about Immortals? I predicted at the start of the split that they would be bottom 2, and I was wrong. I don't think you could possibly make that argument now. I don't even think they're bottom 4 anymore. So that's cool. They are really exceeding my expectations. I did not think they would be good at all. So that bit of it, I'm very excited about. I'm still not 100% sold on them, but uh, yeah, I I was wrong about Immortals at the start of the split. So that is something that I will say.
I personally would like to see what happens if they swap in Pretty over Insanity and Viper over Revenge. I know Viper is a lot
It's been on 80 ping so far this season.
stronger.
Yeah.
Well, I
So
mean, they're coming to LA soon. They should be in
right.
LA. I don't know if in Academy for this week, but at least by next week they'll be playing on LA local ping for the servers. But
Yep.
you know,
Huge news for the
I want to see if
Academy
Viper
League.
can still play the same way that he would normally play without Anda, because at this rate, I don't think you can make an argument to ever sub out Xerxes. But
I'm not subbing anyone out in that roster. They're playing good right now. I mean, they're 7-5. They're punching way above their weight class.
no, yeah, no, they're doing good. I'm just curious, like if they, I think Pretty didn't get the best chance to show what
True.
he
He
can
had a rough
do.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I actually think Pretty is really good. I've been really impressed with his performance since I didn't know him and who he was when we were going into Proving Grounds in spring, and
Mm,
then he turned up, and I was like, wait, this guy is like low key one of the better mids in
it's good.
Academy. So
It's pretty sick.
All right. We're going to skip over COG because we have fun stuff about them. FlyQuest. Oh, actually, we'll use FlyQuest to bridge to Academy. So, Golden Guardians. Golden Guardians picked up their 4th win of the summer split as they
Yeah.
managed to take down the FlyQuest / FlyQuest Academy roster as they had subs only today in a game that honestly I have no idea how
They
they
should have
won,
lost.
but congrats to them.
They
Um,
they definitely
yeah,
should have lost that
I
game.
was I tuned in. I was watching from on my way home from yeah, just
yeah,
I
and
was out and about with my family,
Yeah.
and I saw that FlyQuest had a sick early game. Tomo had picked up like a triple around the Rift Herald spawn, and I was like, oh, okay, well, it looks like FlyQuest are just they've got in the bag. And then I come home, and it's like, what the
They
fuck?
lost.
I was in
What
a call,
happened?
and they're like, "Wait, Golden Guardians won." I was like, "Wait, FlyQuest lost that?" And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
But I think Golden Guardians are not as good as their record at the summer split shows at 4-8. Because that win against C9 and their win today probably should have been L's. But
Sure. They haven't
they
had a
have
winless week
direction.
yet.
They're improved. There are young people on that team that I can root for. And if you're gonna be a low budget, lower place team, and that's your goal, I like what Golden Guardians are doing. And the gameplay, they have better early game plans than some of the better teams in the league. They just need to figure out how to who's the carry of that team. Like, is a Blaze Olive going to be the carry? It sure seems like he's the only one that can do it at the moment.
I agree.
So yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, they have not had a winless week yet, and they have already exceeded their wins from spring, which is awesome. Great job
All
to the
right.
Golden Guardians.
Now for the not fun ones. We'll start with CLG because FlyQuest, they had subs. CLG went 0-7 this week amongst their Academy squad and their LCS squad.
Not again.
Their LCS squad, at least there's direction. At least they're playing a strat that caught everyone off guard for a week. Then everyone prepped for it. They didn't make any changes, so they lose. And wow, look, a team's respecting Vi Galio and not fighting around the first 2 dragons like 100 Thieves did. Who would have thunk? I
My
like the
favorite
CLGs
part
doing
about
something
it,
unique.
my favorite part about it was that they on there were a lot of CLG people on Twitter after they got Vi Galio again in the first game this week. They were like, "Yo, I can't believe they egoed us. They didn't ban it." And then they lost. And they were like, "Oh
It
shit."
wasn't close, yeah.
And
It's
then
like,
they lost the next
oh
two
wait,
also.
like you cannot fight that dragon? It's like you can just not fight us?
Andre Gilhoto had the banger
That was a banger
Yeah,
response.
tweet.
that was a really good
That was a
tweet.
really good tweet. Gilioto might win tweet of the week from us.
It was a good
Holy
tweet.
shit.
Yeah, so that was my favorite part about CLG this week. My second favorite part is Keel, but I'll get on that in Academy.
Yeah, I'm
And I'm
not as high
just
on him
very
as you
sad.
are, but um at
Dude,
least they're
Vi is
trying
just the
something.
most
Like they've only like it's bad. Like I don't know what's going
Vi
on
is such a
still.
worthless champion.
They've also only
I
won when
I stand
Pobelter's
by that.
playing Galio, Syndra, Lissandra, which not really the champion pool we have at the moment in the meta. I don't know
No.
if he's struggling to pick that up. I don't know if Broxa is not as good at the AP champs. I don't know.
I don't know.
So
Smack, did you just say Vi is such a worthless champion?
Yes, Vi is worthless.
All
So
right. Well, the next time we
it
play
is
Wild
so
Rift,
terrible.
I'll play Vi.
Wild
that's Wild
Rift
Rift.
is not League of Legends. Okay? I need you to know this.
Yeah, I know.
They're not the same. I know
All
we've been
right.
playing
Then
a
the
lot
next time we
recently.
play League, I will play Vi on your team.
Please don't.
Honestly, I think
Please
that
don't do that.
CLG and TSM, I can't wait to see that rivalry again because it can truly take us back to like the glory days of that so-called rivalry, like the season 3, season 4 days, because they don't play the AD champs mid; they still play mages. So we can really feel like
There
we're
you go.
going back in time with that.
It'll be buffed next patch too.
Pobelter's back;
All
he
the
was
items
on
are
some of
cheaper.
those teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Actually, mages are actually going to be good in 11-13, so I shouldn't shit on them this much. But I don't know. Maybe the patch change actually does really benefit COG and TSM. So who knows? Thinking about
So what are
how
the
the
changes
game's went so far.
released in
I
on 11.13? What were nerfs?
They're
E
so
base damage.
At max rank the E is down 40 damage.
It's a
Which is a
lot.
lot.
Oh,
That's magic damage too.
Yep.
that is a lot.
It's pretty bad. There's one thing that I'll say about CLG that is good about Vi, which is the first time that you'll ever hear me say this, and probably the last time too. Vi as a champion and that comp as a whole, I think would have worked if Pobelter just played like Azir or like Oriana.
Yeah, it would have worked
I
with a lot of
actually
things.
think they won that game against Cloud9 if they had one scaling champion. But they had none. And I think it would have worked if Pobelter just played a mage that like actually had damage instead of Galio. I actually think they win that game because Cloud9 was playing so tremendously slow. They were not trying to do anything. They didn't have to because they outscaled because they had the one late game champion in the entire draft of the other 9 early game champions. So
Is Tristana not a late game champion?
I don't know.
not compared to all the other AD carries in the game.
Yeah, it's CLG,
Uh,
man.
so
I'm
just
still
if
down.
Pobelter just played Azir, I think they would have won that game. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, I'm not surprised that CLG took another 0-7, but at the same time, it hurts even more because we've seen them win at this point. We've gotten that taste, and it's gone. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay.
All right.
So FlyQuest.
FlyQuest.
One more fun shit on CLG moment. I pulled a stat that I think is absolutely hilarious. FlyQuest currently on a 7-game loss streak in LCS. However, with summer split and spring split combined, they are 3-0 against CLG. They have still not lost to CLG, even though they are losing to everybody else. And I think that's very funny.
Man.
All right.
Anyway,
FlyQuest.
FlyQuest.
So the true worst team of the LCS is FlyQuest with their main roster. And like that team, like it's the same complaint that I had from CLG in week 1, where it's like, what are they doing? Like there's no direction, right? Like when I went on my rant. Um, there's no direction in FlyQuest games. Like I haven't seen Jose Dioto and Dream sync up. Palafox on Silas is great, but like we haven't, like on Nocturne, it's good, but like they haven't been able to like win games through that. Licorice has just been on split push duty, and he's not like he's supposed to be
Hullbreaker
like
doesn't
the
exist yet.
strongest piece of that team, given his experience, but he's seems like a weak point for them. And then I think Johnson's been playing pretty poorly, in lane at least, and it's a problem. And Tomo's not a dominating laner as well. So I really
Right.
I think Tomo's a good player, but he's not known for his laning phase, right?
Yeah.
I think that today's look obviously was better. They should have won that game.
Yes.
But I'm curious. Like I'm curious if they make roster changes because like talking about academy, I think they're the second best academy team at the moment. I'm super impressed with their academy team. And they're like I think the academy team, like as pound for pound, might just be better than the LCS roster. Like at the moment, seriously,
so, too.
like that gameplay is actually better from them. I know it's against worse competition, but the way they play the map is very, very good. It's very good. So I don't know what's going on in that org. I really don't.
They I wanted to I was ready for when FlyQuest won it, assuming they had won today. I was ready to go back and clip Proving Grounds Pod or on Veterans Talk Show developing NA, and it's like, hey, here's a plan, guys. We actually just promote Tomo and Diamond to the main roster and see what the fuck happens. And I was ready to. They almost won. I was ready to send it. I was like, it's like I should be a general manager. And then I realized why I shouldn't be a general manager. And
results-based analysis, Raafaa, it was still better.
Yeah, it was still a good move.
Yeah.
I think NXI is also very good.
I think that whole academy team has just been going off. Like,
no,
seriously.
Triple Kumo, insane solo laners. I still remember during Proving Grounds they had some insane macro plays. Even during the Arena of Legends tournament that we did as well.
It was great. They took second in that tournament. Yeah, I fully agree. I think the academy team is really good. They've been playing together for a long time. I've been really high on NXI for almost a year now, and I think he's amazing. But
I mean,
I understand that the
crushing.
brand value and skill are there for Jose Dioto, so I'm gonna have to curb that for a bit.
Yeah. NXI is really good. I think Jose Dioto still is good, and he's just not being facilitated.
Jose like theoretically is the carry of that team, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like how it's built. Theoretically, Jose's the carry. You're gonna play make with your support. Bots late game insurance for sure.
Dude. They call him Palafaker for a reason.
Like, it's good, yeah.
Palafox is actually pretty solid. I think his mechanics are really good.
His Silas and Nocturne have been very good this season. I know, but his Silas has a good record. His Nocturne, I thought that there was 2 games where Palafox and FlyQuest probably should have won, but they just aren't syncing up. A lot of it's support
Palafox
jungle. I'm wondering if like maybe language barrier is an issue. I don't know. Like I wouldn't think it would be, but who knows? Like they need to sync up. Anyway, Academy.
Yes. All right. So let's hop into Academy. We already touched a lot on FlyQuest, but there's a lot to say over the past couple of weeks. But we're you want to start this one out, Mark?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I
thought you were like, give it to me. I got it.
Oh
well,
murder it.
Well, I'm gonna start this off then because the thing that we have been asking for what feels like an eternity finally happened,
and it's good.
And TSM subbed in Takeover in the mid lane.
It's going well.
And surprise, surprise, that team's actually really good. They went 6-2 in the last 2 weeks. They're actually even in their game record now.
Takeover's a beast. Like
Takeover's so good. He's only played melees. And it looks amazing.
He played in a different region competitively, and he was the highest ranked mid on the solo queue ladder, like in the spring. Like I know that a lot of pros are like playing at that time, but the kid's good. And
He's
Sword
really
is the
good.
weakest mid in Academy, or was, because I think Takeover is just going to be playing there for the rest of the time. And TSM
Yeah,
is
there's no
good.
reason not to.
Yeah, your Son and Cody Son are a really good bot lane, and
Yeah.
they're
And he is
murdering everyone.
Chilean.
Yeah.
He is Latino Korean. Well, I don't know
Mhm.
if he has any Latino blood. It's just that he lived in Chile.
It's big time for
So
Raafaa.
what honorary Latino American. Just gotta take the dubs whenever we can get them. But Chilean Korean in Takeover. Surprisingly, I would think that you have War Machine Hyper on that roster who was made his name being a Lee Sin one trick. I think Takeover's Lee Sin is better than Hyper's Lee Sin. I know
Ooh.
that Hyper is gonna hate that if he ever hears that, and he's gonna be like, another reason why I fucking hate Rafa on my
Unfollowed.
list here. But
TSM death list.
you
Rafa's
know,
trying to add him up faster than me. We're
you,
racing.
you know, hey, it's fine. I still have respect for Hyper as a player because when he's on, then he's on, and he makes really sick plays, and he wants to be right up in the face of
Yeah.
his opponents. Which
And
I love
he's
that
able
sense.
to do that now because
Yeah.
they're playing like these early game skirmish styles where Takeover is on a melee champion for 8 games in a row, and it looks really fucking good. I am super pumped for this team now, actually, because your son was always a really good piece on this team. He was one of the reasons why they actually did surprisingly well in the main Proving Grounds event because we all thought that they were just going to fizzle out immediately. But Yurson had some really sick moments in spring, and now they're actually not behind for no reason because their mid laner got Flame Horizon. Takeover is actually able to farm on melee champions, and it just looks so good. I'm really high on TSM Academy. I actually think that this team is going to be a top contender now.
Would you call
I
them
was
a rocket?
a Rocket.
Yes.
Are they sponsored by Rocket Mortgage or something?
No,
No.
that's
Yeah,
100 Thieves.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm calling them
To
a
the moon?
rocket because they're going to the moon.
To the
Yeah.
moon.
Okay.
To
All right,
the
TSM to the moon.
moon.
I like that. TSM
My
FTX.
TSM stock is definitely rising.
Yeah, they look good. They look really good in their wins. Okay. So next, who do we want to talk about next?
If we want to keep on the positive train,
100 Thieves.
we can, yeah.
100
So
Thieves
100
are the best team in
Thieves.
Academy, just like they are in LCS.
Yep.
And Golden
Yep.
Glue is saying that they wish they could share their scrim record because they feel like they'd be a top 6 team in LCS. And honestly, from how dominant their gameplay's been, I really can't blame them. They're the only team that's yet to be 0-2'd, along with one other. Do you want to guess who the one other is?
Is it EG?
Yeah, it's EG. Because all they do is 1-1.
I knew it was EG.
But yeah, they've only dropped 3 games in Academy. So 13-3 is the best record. They look dominant in their games. It's the style they're doing it in. They sometimes flub early game, but God, their mid to late game is so good. Like the decision making is just way better than everyone else in the league, and the fighting. Like these guys are really good.
They're so
Yeah.
skillful.
They're
in
really
the,
good
in the fights too.
Yeah,
Like,
the super
watch-
surprising.
Watch Academy to watch 100 Thieves Academy. Like seriously, that's
actually.
how good this team is. Like
Yeah.
I would rather watch 100 Thieves Academy right now than CLG and FlyQuest, like in LCS.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Golden
The
Guardians
funny
too.
thing, yeah, the funny thing about 100 Thieves Academy early game right now is that Kenvi is just ego flipping a lot of
But he's got his
skirmishes.
team with him.
I know he's got his team with him. I like to call it ego flip because if you look at the wave states of the map and you look at what objectives there to fight for, there's nothing realistically to force a fight. It's just really Kenvi just saying, "Hey guys, we're a better team. Let's fucking fight them." And they win. So like it works and it's like cool. It just drives me not insane. It just makes me go, "Oh my god, like we're just fighting for the sake of fighting." And this is like not
They're
that
just better.
calculated, but if you can ego flip and you're the better team, then you fuck it, you ball, right? And that
They're
it
not even
makes
the best team at doing that either. It's EG. EG is the ego flip team.
Yeah. 100 Thieves are getting better at it though. They're not doing it
Yeah.
as much because now they're taking like calculated leads, mainly off of Ryoma, who is
He's the best
probably
mid of the league, without a doubt.
yeah the best
He's
mid in the
playing
league.
so good. He's winning all 3 lanes at once. It's stupendous. Like I cannot believe what Ryoma is doing on this patch. Like it's unreal.
I'm convinced at this moment that 100 Thieves Academy has the best player in every role in Academy. All of them. I think the ones
King
where you
over
could
Isle, or like King and
yeah.
Isles would be probably the better bot lane historically, but Luger and Puma have been fantastic this split. And Tenacity, I don't think he's the strongest top.
Tenacity is pretty good. Have you
No,
seen his
I know.
Irelia?
I mean, yeah.
I
But
mean,
that's
we all know how
yeah.
good his Irelia is.
But there's still like
it's
a
been
couple
happening.
like consistency issues. Like if I would take Kumo at the moment. Like Kumo's been having a freakish split. I think Haunter's still playing out of his mind.
Haunter's real good.
So yeah, but the rest,
you can make an argument for all of them, but I'm gonna make the claim that they just have the best players in every role right now.
Okay.
I think once
Darshan?
USA Viper comes into play, maybe we'll have
Darshan's been freaking the split.
Yeah, dude.
And Kumo. And Haunter.
Oh man, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
Also, for what it's worth, I think there are 10 good junglers in this league, which is really cool.
I disagree.
Okay.
10
I think
good
there are 10
junglers in Academy?
Yeah.
Like so every single jungler is good? That's
I
Oh,
no.
they just put in Will. Okay, I think there are 9
Will's
good
new. No. Yeah, Will's new. Take it easy. He's 16.
I'm sorry, man.
We can talk about Dig next if we want.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to like ignore how dirty you just did the newest player, the newest 16-year-old that we don't even know.
That was mostly a joke. I think Will his first game was
It's bad.
Was
really
bad.
But he had a good one.
After that happened, his week was not that bad.
Yeah.
I'm mostly joking, Will. If you're listening, I'm sorry.
Cloud9 Academy.
Yeah. Who have been
big win.
Yeah. I don't think Will is actually that bad. I do think he needs some more time. Obviously he's 16. Obviously he just joined the league. He hasn't even been playing in Proving Grounds for the past year either. So he's like very fresh.
He was on OQ teams, but yeah.
Yeah. But
I think he put in UPL.
Yeah. Oh, did he? It's Powerful Joe.
I didn't do UPL that split, but I think he was in it.
Right. I think that Dignitas, I mean, they have Soligo, so they're contenders. I also think Lorlo is pretty good. Spawn is still exciting. So I think that they're sort of like at the mercy of Dignitas LCS for what's going on with that team.
I mean, we'll see what happens with them, but they had a good week. They went 3-1. I was surprised, but I still think Soligo is really good.
They went 2-2. They got 2 by FlyQuest.
My bad. Yeah, my bad. But FlyQuest is freaking. We can talk about their academy squad. Yeah. Better macro than the majority of the teams in LCS this week was demonstrated by FlyQuest, and I think they're the second best team in the league. C9 slipped up with their roster swap. We'll see if they get back on track. I expect they do. But at the moment, I think it's 100 Thieves and them. And I don't think it's that close. Their macro is so good. Their macro is so good. Like, they were good at setting up objectives in the spring. But like in the spring, remember, like they just picked Victor Aphelios and be like, all right, we're down 2k gold, the third dragon, and like we win. After that, it's fine.
Where's he gonna win? And their sideline setup was really good.
Yeah, their setups were like really good, but God, Fantix has that team in good form at the moment. Like their wins this week were clean. I mean,
that's why they got LCS looks.
And the academy games are sloppy, right? Like usually, like it's best of twos. Like the academy's been blowing out this split. It's been fun to watch, but no, FlyQuest is like they're so calculated, or at least they were this week. It was very fun to watch. They're playing good league at the moment.
Academy's really so fun to watch.
Yeah.
Dude. Honestly, as Academy, I know I jokingly pushed this idea to Smacks for play versus, but I wanted to also push it to Academy. It should be an anime. It should be themed like a freaking like
It is
school
so exciting.
Academy anime, and
The
I'm I wanted to see if like if I got onto Academy this year, which I did, and that I could push like a graphic revamp and a show revamp to be like, hey, let's make this look like a freaking anime. I will write the music for the opener. I will write music for this show.
you're
Like,
listening, Academy people. He's not lying. He has
yeah,
done it.
I
He did it for our shows. He did it for Risen. They still use his music. I don't know if you noticed this, but they're still using your
I
music
know.
for Risen.
Yeah,
That's
they
awesome.
asked me for permission to make sure to use it. Yeah, if you can give
Yeah.
me credits and shout outs, like, yeah, go for it. Like, I have 5 guitars back there. I don't know if you can see when it autofocuses
There
all
they
that
are.
equipment. I have a bass hanging up on the wall, and I have a studio set up. I write this shit, man, and like now we're already halfway through Academy. We're not gonna get enough time to do it. But like if Riot likes me and I don't do anything stupid to get myself canceled by next year, and they still want me to do Academy stuff, I will propose
You're right.
that
You're right. The script.
I will propose and pitch a graphic revamp, a show identity revamp that Academy should be its own thing. It should not just feel like watered down LCS. It should not feel like budget LCS. It should be its own show. It should be its own thing. And I want to push it as like a freaking anime. So that is my pitch.
I wonder if they've seen your BS video yet. Maybe that'd be the one to do you in.
The unfortunate thing is that I don't watch that much anime to begin with.
You know what? I do. I'll help you out with it.
Thank you, Smacks. Yeah.
Yeah. By the
Or
way, the My Hero Academia arc is getting pretty good.
always, what you could always do is we could always reach out to the content queen herself, Ovly May, who is probably one of the 4 experts of anime, who just put out a hilarious video about anime ASMR. And I
And
didn't.
moving on.
Okay. That's probably a good call. Um, okay, yeah, let's move on. Let's touch on Immortals Academy just real quick. Like Rafa said earlier, Viper and Anda are expected to be in the States within the next couple weeks. They did get their visas approved. Super excited about that.
They took
These
Game off Honor
guys,
Thieves. That series is really
yeah,
fun. So
they were
yeah,
the
we'll see.
best top jungle in the league in spring. They won in spring, and uh, yeah, the fact that they're going to be on NA Ping is really good because of mainly Viper's champion pool. He hasn't stopped playing his super mechanical champions, and it hasn't looked as good, mostly because of the ping. So that's really, really hype. But other than that, I still think this team is pretty good. They're definitely better than their results, I would say, especially when their top jungle moves in. And yeah, like you said, Cubby, they did take a game off 100 Thieves, which is awesome.
They should be better than their results, but they're in 7th. So we'll see.
Yeah.
COG Academy, you wanted to go on a kill rant.
I think Keel's really good. When I said that there are 10 good junglers in Academy, I meant it. I think that Keel is a much better jungler than the 10th place team that he is on. And I think that if if we're thinking of the players on the 10th place team at the end of the year and going into 2022, I really hope that Keel gets another shot because I think he is great. So, um, that's most of it.
Okay. I think COG is still struggling in the early game, and some of that's winning, some of that's team-wide stuff. I like their late game setups though; they're not bad. They find good team fights just at deficits. They have to prevent that from happening. I don't think we've hit EG Academy.
Oh,
EG
true.
they did break their streak of 1-1s as they split with TSM and they 2-0 TL. They had a very nice
Yeah.
week. Looked very good in
Woo.
their wins. Led by Contracts and JoJo, who didn't feed too much this week. It's good for JoJo.
Yeah. Uh, so before I even let you talk, Mark, I do want to point out there are 20 teams in LCS and Academy combined. There are also another 16 teams in Risen. So there are 36 teams currently participating in the NA ladder that we talk about. Of all of those teams, Evil Geniuses Academy is my favorite. They are the most fun team to watch. I absolutely love watching every single one of their games. If you are a fan of
If you're a fan of Wild
action,
Rift, you love watching EG because the
if
games
you're a
are
fan of
it's a
just
lot of action.
action-heavy games that don't stop ever, you are an Evil Geniuses Academy fan, and you should watch those games with me. I will be in the chat, not this week because I'm going to be on vacation, but
Where are you going on
it's
vacation?
I'm going to Water Park Resort, and it's going to be great. But anyway, EG Academy is my favorite team. Hashtag live evil. I will root for them every single time, and I think that is the most fun team to watch in all of NA right now. Maybe the world.
Even with LCS, EG's LCS doing better and Jizuke doing better, I still am in the JoJo Pyun to LCS.
You know what? We're
waiting.
gonna do a every episode. We're gonna check on Raafaa. Raafaa, you still in the JoJo Pyun waiting room? He's gonna be like, "Yep."
Hell yeah,
All right.
dude!
Yeah,
Freaking.
We'll write down. We'll keep
Hang
on
on.
checking on Raafaa. So does
Yeah,
that
hang on.
cover
JoJo
that cover Academy?
You know what? You know what I'm gonna fucking do? Hang on. When does
What is
when
His
it?
was the
birthday is November
December?
2021.
Oh, November.
November 21. That is Jojo Pyun's birthday. Or no, I'm wrong. That's when his contract expires.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck, dude?
When is
I'm
his
over-
birthday? It
It's
doesn't
in
say on Leaguepedia.
December.
I
It's in
thought it was. I
December.
thought it was December. I thought he wouldn't be
Yeah.
17 in
Is it
time for
December?
the split.
All right, hang on.
That's what I thought I heard.
We need to ask him.
It's not on
Countdown
Leaguepedia though.
timer to December. I think it's 7.
Ian says that it's in January.
What? His birthday's in January? God damn it. Okay. Countdown timer to January. We're just gonna say 7th, 2022. All right. We will be in the JoJo Pyun to LCS waiting room for 6 months, 28 weeks. Wait. This is not correct.
That sounds right.
Okay.
Well, not 28 weeks.
We will be in the JoJo Pyun to LCS waiting room for 193 days, 2 hours, 26 minutes, and 12 seconds and counting.
Okay. That wraps Academy, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. On to Amateur Risen. Where are we at with Risen?
Well, each team has played 2 series so far. We did take that week off, like we mentioned. All of semi-pro did not have that week going. They had an OQ. And I've put together a few blurbs of each group because nothing too wild has happened, I would say. I think tomorrow is where things really get crazy, but to me, nothing has been like really surprising except for one thing, and that is that Maryville beat Wildcard Red. And Wildcard Red beat 100 Thieves, and 100 Thieves beat Wildcard Black, and Wildcard Black beat Maryville.
Circle of
So
Suck?
it's just a full rock paper scissors and the other thing.
Circle
going
of
on right
Suck.
here.
No.
You know, so when I was a kid, Smacks, we played rock, paper, scissors, and then sometimes my friend would just pull out a gun. And that kind of beat everything else. But in this case, it doesn't work.
That's probably what's going on in Group A, except both Zoos and Cloud9 have guns. And the other teams are just like pieces of paper.
Aggressive.
So I mean, Group A is pretty locked in. And quite literally so, actually. Zeus and Cloud9 are already locked in for playoffs, and the other two teams have been knocked out.
And that's not a surprise.
Yeah, no.
That's not a surprise at all. So
But
that group
but
is
their series
suspect.
tomorrow is a
Yeah.
must-watch.
Also, it's not Group A. It's Division 1. Please respect Risen. Moving on,
Oh,
Division 2.
really?
I'm joking. Well, yeah, I'm just memeing. Division
Division
2.
1.
That's the Circle of Suck.
Yes.
Who's coming out on top? The matchups for tomorrow are, in that group, going to be MU versus 100 Thieves. That is going to be on the Risen Esports channel, in fact. And then the Civil War, Wildcard Red versus Wildcard Black. I've got Red, and I've got 100 Thieves.
Me
I
too.
want to see 100 Thieves in best of 5. Or I think are playoffs best of 5 in quarters? I'm not sure. It is. Let's go. It's all about. I want to see 100 Thieves in a best of 5. I think that
yeah.
they've got some interesting strats with Gamsu, just given the fact that he's still on more of the tank play. Still feels very comfortable on the Ornn. That's something that 100 Thieves have in their repertoire quite a bit. The Scion as well. I think that might catch a couple teams off guard. They play around those TP timers pretty well. And Instinct and Busio are a good bot lane. I think that they lane really well and are tough to beat. So I think they can maybe throw a wrench in a team's plan as long as they don't get matched up against like Zeus would be a bad matchup for them. It's a bad matchup for everyone, but Zeus would be a bad matchup for them.
Right.
So it's important they win that one. And I don't know how the Circle of Suck goes because the tiebreaker, I think, will be head-to-head.
Oh, yeah. So if it does play out like you just mentioned, then Wildcard Red would be first seed, and then 100 Thieves would be second seed.
Okay.
But
Yeah, because Red 2-0'd. So Maryville and
Right.
Red have the 2-0s. So it is like a pretty
Yeah.
equal Circle of Suck. So
yeah, it actually
100
is.
100 well, no, but Wildcard Red didn't. They only have 2 wins. So Red and 100 Thieves both. Yeah, but Red beat them. Okay. Anyway,
Red
sorry.
2 of them, yeah.
Play a freaking group scenarios, man.
Yeah. Okay, let's
Division
talk
3,
about
Circle of
Division
Suck
3.
version 2.
Yeah, the difference here is that the
This
Civil War
one's-
already happened.
Yeah.
And
Randoms.
AoE won it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also pretty certain that both AoE teams are going to make it. So,
In the current form, I want to see AoE with a different matchup. I still have faith in Darkwings. I think that Darkwings is really good. I think that RBM's good. They just have not put the pieces together yet. And I think that team wants to fight to make it to Proving Grounds. We expect that they can threaten, but we haven't seen it from them yet. And so I want to see them in a best of 5, see if we get more data out of them. Tomorrow's matchups are AoE versus Supernova. I think AoE wins. And then Randoms versus Digmig. I think Randoms win.
Yeah.
And then Randoms are the 1 seed. So, yeah. All right.
maybe AoE who's the
I
one
want to pay
seed.
attention to AoE randoms games. In fact, I know that I can't speak for Smacks and Cubby. I haven't had a chance to catch up on Risen games. I know I actually, after raising NA, I will be VOD reviewing speed running VODs for Risen these past 2 weeks. I know the results. I just want to see how people are playing.
I'm behind too.
Yeah, I won't be
Yeah.
able to watch every single series before I clock out for the night, but I definitely want to look at AoE randoms games more. I really want to see
You should
what
watch all the
real-
EGP games too.
Oh yeah.
The
So
EGP
on my
is
list,
looking
on my list
very
of
good.
games to watch is the EGP Resolve series. I also want to see the who did TSM play against?
TSM also played
EGP?
against Resolve.
Okay. I'm curious just to see because I know TSM got dumpstered by Resolve, but I want to see what Frost Force did in his opening series against Resolve. Just to see if I can identify if
Yeah.
it's
They got to draw
nerve-
the playoff bracket too. That's because like we don't know like what the potential
Right.
bracket would be. I guess we do have to
Yeah,
give predictions for
fun.
quarters. I think that is there any team that's coming out of a group as a 2 seed that we're scared of with if the games go how we kind of unanimously expect they're going to go? The only one that's not unanimous is Resolve EGP, and we'll finish off the show by predicting that one because that's a fun series.
Okay.
Yeah,
no,
I
not
think
not.
that's probably gonna. I think Group T is gonna have the scariest number 2 seed coming out of the
Yeah,
group. I
I
think the
agree.
close.
I mean,
I think the
EGP,
other.
TSM. My
Yeah,
bad.
I think the
And
other is
I think
going to
and
be.
Zeus C9, whichever team loses that, I think is very scary.
Oh shit, yeah, because they play against each other, and then whoever comes out as the 2 seed. Because technically, Cloud9 Amateur have the head-to-head against Zeus after Challengers Uprising, so
Yep,
which is
that's a
which is
rematch.
surprising.
Must-watch series right there. It's going to be on Academy
I
tomorrow,
would
so
not want to
definitely check
go
that out.
up against Resolve or AoE. I think they're going to be 2
Yeah,
seeds in the group.
it's
That'd be scary.
well, if
Resolve's going
AoE
to beat
wins
up on
against
that random team.
if AoE wins against Supernova, then they're first seed, could be. Because they have the
Ooh.
head-to-head against
And
AoE
I wouldn't want to go up
randoms.
against the randoms even more.
Yeah.
Wait, no, randoms beat them, right? So randoms would
No,
have
they
head to
didn't.
head.
Not in Risen. AoE won in Risen.
Right, but randoms are still up a game in overall game score. So if they win the
That's
game
because
score,
they 2-0'd Supernova.
right.
Is it
So
is
if
it
it's not
game
a
score
2-0,
or
yep,
is it
yep, it's game score then head to head.
interesting?
No,
Okay.
and that's how it should be. If you win more games, you get through.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just I don't know what the format is. Anyway.
Oh, it's not game score. It's tiebreaker. Jesus, sorry, I don't have Risen
Oh,
Root.
shout out to Peyton. Thank you, Peyton, for the update.
I thought it would be game score first. That's weird.
What's up, gamers?
All right, I wouldn't want to face randoms. I wouldn't want to face
Resolve
Resolve. Yeah, those are scary.
or TSM actually.
Those are,
I
TSM is not going to get out of that group.
you don't think so?
No. You
All
think they're
right.
going to beat Resolve? We're ending the show on that
They
prediction.
already lost. They already lost to Resolve. They're playing against EGP, and
Oh, that's
I
right.
don't
That's
think
right.
they're
My
gonna do
bad. Yeah, they got.
If TSM, okay,
You think that
if
TSM
TSM
are going
beats,
to beat EGP?
no, no, no.
You think that
If
Resolve isn't
TSM,
going to beat up on the random team?
no, no, no. Look,
Why are you shading Resolve? They're going to get out.
Cubby, shut the fuck up. If
Okay.
TSM
Okay.
wins tomorrow and Resolve wins tomorrow, then there is a three-way tie for 2-1, and then it could get interesting.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
I do think EGP is going to win tomorrow, but
Yeah.
if they don't, then it could get crazy. So
If
just
you
throwing
watch
that
the
out there.
TSM Resolve series and you think that TSM is going to take a game off EGP, who you were just
Of
hyping up
course,
coming in
this
here,
is a week to warm up, guys. I promise.
You know what? This is a perfect segue into the other thing. Um, I think that EGP is going to win Risen.
yeah, okay. They fixed the mid game atrocity. The magic's not back, but they fixed the atrocity. They beat Resolve.
Tomio is on form this week.
Yeah.
If he continues that against TSM and in their quarterfinals, then yeah, this team's looking good. Surdy also looked very good on Nocturne. I think this team is really good.
I don't think they're going to win, but they are much improved from Cup. Where Cup groups was scary and OQs, and then they won 3-2 against Wildcard Red. So maybe that was a true final. Who knows?
Maybe it was. Speaking of Wildcard, I don't think we mentioned this yet, but they do have Brandini now.
Yep.
Dokla has been promoted to Team Liquid Academy, and Brandini hasn't been super impressive yet, but I think that's expected as this team has been playing with Dokla for a while, and they won Cup with Dokla. And they lost to Maryville, which is a team that's very good at planning. That's like their one thing. So I think that we should still expect Wildcard Red to be very good, but they haven't shown it yet with Brandini. So that's one thing about that.
I think that Brandini is not as good as Dokla, but if their goal is to win Proving Grounds, probably the best pickup they could have gotten.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Anything else on Amateur? I have Resolve 2-0ing TSM, or EGP 2-0ing TSM. My bad. Yeah. I got everything flip-flops in that group. It's bad.
It's all good.
Okay. So something to that I think is very interesting and to keep in mind for amateur is that there is a big collegiate LAN that is happening this weekend after Risen, and there's many players that are fighting for their playoffs lives this week, today and or today or
That are traveling.
tomorrow, and then they potentially, if they get out, then they have to play quarterfinals, and then they have to travel. And if they're still in playoffs, they're gonna have to come back after a collegiate LAN to play semifinals and then finals. But there's um yeah, there, like, if I pull up the roster of and the groups of the collegiate event, Winthrop and Maryville. I mean, Maryville is participating in Risen, and they're going to send that, whole team to the Gateway Legends. Winthrop, two of them are in TSM Amateur. St. Thomas has
Team's
Robbie
good.
Bob from
That
Wildcard
team's
Black.
really good. We're really glad that they're not in our group.
Yeah. It
I have
has it has
I've heard
Array too, right?
rumors.
That
Yeah.
group is nuts. They're
Array is
at the
also
event.
yeah,
Yeah.
Array is also in St. Thomas. I'm super glad that
That
Kitsuo
team's
is
good.
on St. Thomas. That whole roster was like
That team's
news
gonna.
to me.
That
I
group is
was just
so
like,
Yeah.
hard.
I mean,
holy
just
shit.
any collegiate team that has 5 challenger players on it is like immediately a contender.
Yeah, no,
Right.
they're really good. Like I don't know if Winthrop's bringing all 5. Like I don't know if Saskia can play because he graduated.
Mm,
Safio, I don't
right.
think can play. But
So I like, and also Frost Force and Doxa are playing with TSM. Um,
Is Azog allowed to play? Does he actually go to Maryville now?
don't know.
Because
Um,
if not, then they'd be nuclear.
I think that Maryville is playing with their. I think they only have one team too. So, um, which I was surprised about. I thought they'd have both. I was kind of hoping for both. Um, but Maryville is the favorite coming in probably. Their home turf. Winthrop's the only team that can match them. I don't know if Bethany's even coming at full strength. I think they had a graduate too, and we aren't. I mean, I'm bringing a master tier support who is killing it in the jungle in our scrims, but still not a jungle main.
No
So
Dylan.
yeah, no Dylan, who was also our
no
shot caller.
MLB,
So
these nuts said.
yeah. So I know that
Yeah.
like all the teams like kind of dropped, so I'm just kind of expecting Maryville, whose B team would also top forward in collegiate. So kind of expecting they're going to be the favorites.
Yeah.
But
We'll see.
yeah, Raafaa's working the event, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be hosting, and I'll be coaching. So love and
And
honor.
I'll be in the lazy river
Good for
in,
you, Smacks.
on vacation.
Yes, and so Smacks has a vacation. What Smacks is referring to is that we're not going to be back next week. We haven't talked about a Monday episode yet, but we will not be doing it at the typical Sunday time. We'll look into potential alternatives if we don't want to miss that week. Because
Monday episode could be potential
Yeah,
at
I'll be
the
back.
end of Risen semifinals. I think
that'd
that
be
would
fun
Mm.
going into finals. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. We will see. But yeah, sorry to skip some more stuff, but it's a very busy month as it turns out. Speaking of, I think this is as good as time as any to say this to all of you guys who are listening. Shout out to you guys if you're listening this far.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, we're almost at 2 hours. But not this week, 'cause I'm on vacation. But next week, I'm on Academy. I actually did it. I'm on the thing. I'm color casting. So I get to do that. So pretty exciting. I have 4 days in the month of July so far, which is super exciting for me. I've never done that before. So hell yeah.
Yeah, man. So
Who
everyone tune
who
into
are you
Smacks.
casting with, Max?
Keep on supporting Academy.
Who are you casting with, Max?
Well, for all 4 of those days, I'm casting with this one guy who I heard is platinum in Wild Rift. You probably haven't heard of him. His name is Raafaa, I think.
Yeah.
It's
So yeah,
awesome, man.
it's me and Mark
Awesome.
tearing it up on the Academy stream. So look out for that.
Cool. All right. Any other closing words from Mark?
I don't know if you've been seeing, but I've been chillaxing and sipping on soju.
Yeah. Fully support this. So it makes the
Yeah.
podcast fun. It's a Sunday night.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Getting ready for the
I
work week.
might have been making facial expressions throughout the night where I was just like, don't
So
worry.
what you're saying is go subscribe to us on YouTube to see those.
Ooh,
All right,
perfect.
there we go.
Great segue.
Yeah. Thanks for doing this, guys. Fun. Sorry we missed a week, but good episode, and looking forward to the next
Yeah.
one as always.
And we will be back with the Mobalytics top prospects list. Probably not next week, but the week after that when Risen is
We'll
done.
see. Whatever Tim wants.
Yeah.
Wait!
We're at the beck and call of what's up.
Before we go any further, I want to start doing this for Raising NA. At the end of the show, we're going to be giving our three we're giving awards to players. We kind of casually given them throughout the show, but I want to recap, right? And I also want to give our games/series to go back and watch, one for each LCS, Academy, Semi-Pro. I completely agree with Cubby, and I was going to vote for this anyway. For LCS, go and watch Evil Geniuses against TSM back on Saturday, just so you can see El Contracto in full form and just completely, absolutely dismantling TSM in such a dominating fashion. For Academy, I think the most eye-opening series is either
There's one right answer, by the way.
Immortals Academy 100 Thieves, because you get to see 100 Thieves being pushed to the brink by Viper and Anda, who are playing from 80 ping. Or I think another good series
Oh God,
is...
I know what Smax is gonna say. Oh no, I don't ever want to watch that shit again.
Another series would be TSM Academy and Evil Geniuses Academy.
There it is. That's the one.
Oh.
That one's a banger.
I just ran out of file size, so the recording's wrapped.
Those were both on... those were both... let's see. 100 Thieves Immortals was Thursday. TSM Academy, Evil Geniuses Academy was Wednesday. And then for Semi-Pro,
you can see TSM versus Evil Geniuses tomorrow.
Oh yeah, Evil Geniuses Prodigies and TSM.
Just go the full 9 yards there.
Oh wait, you're right, because we had a TSM Academy match, TSM EG match, and LCS, and now
I know, and you gotta watch all of them.
Insane! Holy shit!
Yeah, TSM Evil Geniuses, the rivalry of the century is happening.
Oh my god!
And they all matter a lot too. They're all really good series.
Shit.
All right, I will double those.
Incredible.
And I had fun this week. So, yeah, everyone, thanks for tuning in. The recording is wrapped. I ran out of file size, so that's Twitch exclusive content right there.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, it wraps up perfectly. I'll just have it fade out, you know. But it looks like I got to clean up some files. So,
good luck.
Post-production Cubby.
Hell yeah.
No.
Well, thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah.
We're still planning on having a podcast on Thursday. But it's going to be on Cubby to do that. I don't know if I told you that before, Cubby, but since I'm gone until Thursday night,
I'm gone too.
You're going to have to find a guest.
Because I'm traveling Wednesday, yeah. So.
Well, we might not have a podcast on Thursday.
We can, yeah. Enjoy the vacation,
what?
though.
Yeah, so
we're all traveling.
Vacation from us, too.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't realize that was also a thing, but
no, it's fine. Yeah, I was gonna ask you after this, but once I heard vacation, I was just gonna be like, yeah, we'll catch you up later. So no interview this week, but we'll be back on that with hopefully someone from the Victorious team or Risen by that point. So yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a great time. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We'll be back soon. Definitely watch Risen. Watch all the stuff. Just watch NA. We'll be there too. So
support NA.
Yeah.
Support NA.
We are here, and hope you guys all have a great night. Bye.
See you.
Yeah.
All right, we rated Nile.